Yo, what's up, guys? Damnation-n-Hellfire here, and we're here for BP Crow's Nest No Quarter, which I actually just realized I didn't put the no quarter part in the title of the thing. I just put BPCN episode 20. Oopsie daisies. Anyway, then this one's called How's Your Raid Going? So, hey guys, how's your raid going? And of course, we got Toxic, Shane, Ross, and RB with us tonight.
Howdy-o.
Hello.
G'day.
Good evening. It's going well for me. Pretty smooth.
So you're pretty much like full auto in your entire raid, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not going to ask you for any tips and tricks then.
No, tips and tricks are use a grease monkey and make sure you check on the computer. You cannot see on the HQ app. If you're doing it like I do, you cannot tell when your road crew runs out. So that's a really important thing, or when it's getting near, or you don't know road crew timers. So if you load, you can load them from the computer and then switch over to the HQ app if you're playing in that mode.
Cool. So your tips and tricks is that and break out the wallet. Yeah,
and that's true. You know, for me, I'm past the point where I've used my grease monkeys, and that I've had saved up for this event more than the ones I just recently got. So from here on out, I'm doing this slow repair.
Cool. Hey, Chris, how's it going? Are you there?
Yeah.
How's your raid going? Chris, can't hear you if you're talking, bud.
Sometimes it takes him a few minutes to figure things out.
All right, we'll come back. We'll come back.
Sorry, I was told to be quiet.
Oh, there you go. There you are. I hear you. How's your raid going, bud?
Yeah, it's going really well.
Cool. How many points you up to?
Let me just check. I'm on quite high points at the moment. I'm on 659 million.
Well, there you go. So I'm assuming you're hitting mainly S sets then.
Yeah, I'm altering. I've got KDs as well doing the A sets.
Cool. So you're doing the Ross method. You're just going out and autoing, using grease monkeys when you can, and hitting the coin repair button.
Yeah, I've been doing the 2 112s and 1 114 for about 7 to 8.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Neil, where are you at, man?
I am, let's see, 340, I think it is. 332.
Nice. I'm assuming as well you're doing all S sets, yeah?
Yeah, all S sets. I used grease monkeys. I had 11 of them or 12 of them. First couple days I used them up, and got quite a few points. And now I figured out a little different way that works pretty well too if you don't want to spend the grease monkeys and extra coin. But I've got a little pattern going, a little routine.
Nice. I know I'm at 282 million right now. I'm doing all S sets with scatter guns, and I'm doing the method where you take one of your ships out and use as a decoy to soak up all the damage, and then you run the other 4 behind it so they don't get like all the splash damage. And that's working pretty good for me. I think at 282 million points, I'm only like 40 coins in, so I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I tried that. Didn't work for me.
Yeah, it's if you're not used to driving that way, it can be really difficult and taxing, and you can actually end up taking more damage. I know the first couple times I tried to do it, I hadn't done anything like that for a long time. I actually took way more damage, but then once I got it down a little bit, I'm like, okay, this is much better. Because then really all I have to do is like repair the decoy, and then like maybe every 6th or 7th target put some health on my backup ships because they get a little too close and get some splash sometimes. But it's been really effective for me. Toxic, where are you at, bud?
I got a whopping 65 million points. I've only done one grease monkey, so I'm going to do another one today, and claim the rest of the parts I need for the ship, and maybe the first turret. Sorry.
No. I do have power to kick you off this hangout, just so you know.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I've got four missile makers, one scattergun, and that seems to be doing. I'm changing to 3 and 2. Just depends, and yeah, it works all right. I spent what do I spend? About 13-14 coins so far.
Right on. Shane, where are you at?
I'm at 130 million. I'm doing the decoy thing. I'm down to 2 hours per set, pretty much 1 hour on each ship. But I don't have any of the newer charged armors, 1 second repair armors. All of mine are all the big armors, you know. So I'm not coining the repairs. I just sit and watch movies after 10 minutes of play, and when they're done, I get back on and hit another couple. So just trying to get along as best I can at the moment.
Yeah, I know at the beginning of the raid you were pretty disgruntled with things, but it seems like you've figured out some stuff that's helping you feel a little bit better about it.
Well, I don't feel no better about what's going forward, but I'm just dealing with what the hell I got going on right now.
All right. RB.
I've been pretty slack because I should be at more by now, but I'm at 180 million. Just using missile manticores and grease monkeys or demo squads. I've been rolling lots of both of them lately, so I sort of alternate between either one, but grease monkeys is definitely better.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, anybody who's not rolling demo squads or grease monkeys, you can thank this guy because apparently he's rolling all.
Yeah, I didn't get any. Thank you very much.
I started the raid with 19 demos and 11 grease monkeys.
There you go. Sounds like Shane's ready to take a flight over to Australia and kick RB's ass. It sounds like there.
Not again.
From him.
Hey, G Daddy, how are you doing, man?
Hey guys,
Hey, how you doing? How's your raid going, bud?
twice in 1 week. What's going on? Like, how come I'm in here again? Yeah, I'm doing all right. I'm telling you, score. I'm using 4 different fleets at the moment. I decided to do what I said the other day and use the 5 days build tokens to finish one of my ships in the yard, and then I stuck on 3 Skyfires with tokens that I won from the Cold Fusion again. I'm on 32 million at the moment, so I'm not doing bad.
Cool. Yeah, from like stories I remember you having, like, you know, even as recent as 6 months ago, your game's way up.
Yeah, definitely. I've now got 2 Skyfire fleets, one with a gut spill, one without. 5 in one fleet, 4 in other, obviously, with gut spill, and 4 Mantas built full. I've got the Makara built, but it's only a blank. And I'm using the Phoenix fleet as well, so auto in 41s, 3 41s at a time, while doing 3 sets with other women in between each target.
Cool. So I tell you, you guys talk amongst yourselves for a little bit. We're going to talk about ship builds for the Razor Tail and the Bat Ray, and I'm going to go ahead and get that set up on my game screen. But you guys go ahead and talk amongst yourselves about whatever you want to talk about for me.
I was gonna tell you guys that I found a little method. It seems to work for me as far as if you got the full fleet with a Makara, and I just went out with a demo squad and hit the 112s and 114s. And of course, I used the lead effect, and I have a little pattern. But then I would bring it back in and just repair the Makara and go back out. Even though it doesn't heal or do anything else to the rest of the fleet, it did take a lot of stress off the rest of the fleet. So I was able to get like 6 sets by just putting 1 coin on the Makara, and that's what it was each time for the repair was 1 coin, and I didn't repair the rest of the fleet.
So
Yep.
I'm prepping for you for what reason?
Because you said you would. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm using my Makara as my decoy, and I'm kind of doing that same thing and just bring it back, and I only repair the flag and then send it back out. And yeah, it's much more cost effective that way for sure.
I know, because even though last time I was doing them for 1 and then breaking down and repairing each single ship after that, you know, but this time there's enough damage in them that you just can't repair each ship each time.
So okay, let's talk about the Razor Tail first, because I know. Oh yeah, let me go down the panel and find that out too. Who's going with what boat? I'm going with the Razor Tail. Toxic.
Yeah, I was going to go with the Batwing, but after some discussion, I decided to go into the do the Razor Tail.
Gotcha. Shane.
I'm doing the Bat Ray.
You're doing the Bat Ray. Ross.
Razor Tail.
RB.
Razor.
Neil.
Razor.
G Daddy.
Dinner.
Robin.
Someone
That's
had
what
to
you're
do
using.
it.
You're using the Robin, right?
Yeah.
And Chris, what are you going for?
Yeah, Razor.
All right. So it sounds like most of the panel is going for the Razor Tails, but we have a few dissenters there. So you guys will really come in handy when it comes to talking about the Bat Ray build, because I haven't really looked at that one yet. So we're going to look at the Razor Tail first. All right. Here's what I'm going to go with, and then we can go from here. Like, obviously, I'm going to go with Gale Defense Systems to shoot down the mortars. Then I'm also going to use the new Needler rockets. So let's throw some of those on there. And I'm going to put one of the, where's that? The Reckonite rockets on there, because that affects your opponents with a 25% reload debuff. So I figure anything that's making them shoot less at me and deal more damage to me is probably a good thing. You know, depending on how we see speeds and stuff, you might want to look at potentially putting one lockdown rocket on if they're going too fast. I don't think with the spread that's on the Needler that will be a big problem, but it's something you might want to look at if it does become a problem for you. Of course, armor-wise, I'm going with, I myself anyway, going with all panels of the CTX, which you can get in the FM. Special-wise, my first special, I'm going to use the CTX3 special that gives you 55%, 0.7 for explosive and 56% for concussives, because we know those are the 2 damage types we're going to be dealing with. Engine-wise, I have a bunch of hydraulic resistors, so I'm probably going to use that for the concussive resist. Then when we get into the specials, my first special I'm going to pick is, obviously, I'm going to go with the, as soon as I find it, this is it. Yeah, the Wave Diver warheads, because they do the 75% splash and the 46% explosive damage buff. I'm also going to use the warhead reloaders for the rocket reload and the explosive damage of plus 25%. One of my other specials I'm going to use is, oh, here, Lord, let's see if I can remember. You guys watch me put this together like a billion times. What are the other 2 specials I'm using?
So reloader.
Yeah, countermeasure reloader 4, because it gives me more reload. Plus, it really comes in handy for my Gales. And then I'm going to take a gamble, and I'm going to assume that they're going to have Hyper 30 fixed in time for the next raid cycle, and I'm going to use Hyper 30 and for the splash reduction. And even if they don't have it fixed, I'm still it's still a well-rounded special in my opinion, because I'm going to get 30% projectile speed. I'm going to get the 30% evade bonus, and I'm going to get a 30% bonus to my combats. So that's what I'm going with. I mean,
what's your?
We can look at our defenses over here. I'm at my screen will stop jumping around. I'm at 98% on both explosive and concussive.
Sounds good.
And what's the speed at?
My speed is at 65, and my turn speed is at 74, and my map speed is 314.
That's pretty good.
That last special that you put on, that gives splash damage reduction as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, if they get it fixed. It's not working currently.
Right.
Okay. But they have said they do plan on having it fixed by the next raid cycle. So I'm going to cross my fingers, my toes, and probably my eyes, and hope that they're accurate, and it will be indeed be fixed by them.
Have you weapons you've got on hit? Do they hit underwater?
It doesn't matter because the whole special effect of the razor tail is the cavitator field. So it'll be popping the subs up out of the water.
Okay.
Because I know some people were talking about hydrodynamic shells, and I honestly didn't see the necessity for it because, as I said, it was going to be popping subs up out of the water, and the range of that cav field is 75 or 74 or something like that.
Yeah.
And your rocket range is only 68, so I didn't see a need for it.
I have a comment here.
Go ahead.
What's the range of the new sub? Isn't it supposed to be like really long? And the reason I asked that is because I decided to put the shells on there that gets my sonar range out to like 140. And only do it on one ship, just for that purpose.
Right. I don't know because I'll be honest. I didn't look at their little blurb videos, their commercial they did real closely to see what the range on the subs was.
Yeah, actually, it's if you read at the top of the page where it says trying to decide between the bat ray and the razor, click here, you go there, and it tells you that there is a sub that has a certain amount of range on it that you can't, you'll have trouble getting with if you're using the razor, but if you bat ray, you won't now.
Right. I mean, I guess. Oh, are you talking about the smart torpedoes?
Yes, that's what it was.
Okay,
Thank you. I'm sorry.
Yeah. They're a whole different animal. So probably your best bet on that. If you're going to take razor tails and the target has the interdictors that launch the smart torpedoes, your best bet is probably just run like a bat out of hell for the interdictors and kill them as fast as possible. That way you don't even have to worry about them. But like generally in skirmish hulls, as far as detection, like I'm building to like I'm planning on fully autoing this raid, so I'm not going to be doing a whole lot of kiting and trying to stay at max ranges for stuff. So I'm not going to have to worry because everything's going to be running towards me. So it's not like I need to spot it further out. It's going to come to me. So.
And that's a misread on my part because I was thinking it was a sub as opposed to the other ship.
Gotcha. So I don't know. Anybody else? Anybody have anything they want to change on this that in their build that they're planning on doing differently?
I'm doing a little bit different. I've got 2 twin fires on it.
So you got here. I'm going to adjust it as you talk. That way people can see.
Hang on, I can.
You got 2 twin fires.
I got 2 twin fires. I've got 1 recondite,
Yep.
1 lockdown.
And you got 1 lockdown as well.
Yep. Then I've got the same as you, 1 Gale 3. But do we know that there is only more? Or is there a rocket target as well? We don't know that, do we?
It's everything. I mean, the close-up ships might have rockets. I don't know.
So I got a sprint on mine instead of the second Gale 3.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I don't know that I myself would go that way, but I suppose it might.
I don't know. I just thought if there's a lot of rockets coming, maybe it'll help. I don't know. It's just hypothetical.
Right.
And the reload, I'm not sure. whether to put the countermeasure load as 4 or put the what do you call them? The warhead reloaders, or what are they called? What are they
I think
called? Cluster warheads.
Yeah, cluster warheads. I think you get like I want to say, because I ran some numbers and I'm just trying to remember this right off the top of my head. I think I have a 0.5 reload without the cluster warheads, so I could only at most get another 0.3 out of the cluster warheads. And I just thought, you know, with the benefit that the countermeasure also gives my countermeasures, I just thought that the countermeasure was probably, and for me, more the way to get them.
And then the only other thing I got different is the I use the explosive resistors, because it is the one that has got the lower explosive defense.
Gotcha. I don't think I have any of those. Actually, I haven't claimed any of those yet. To put it, I can put a unclaimed one on there. Let's see what the differences in your defenses are. Is that Jax that joined us?
Yeah.
I think it's just
unmute now. Unmute my mic.
Yeah, it does help if you unmute your mic when you're going to talk.
Yeah. Good evening, guys.
How you doing, man?
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Enjoying the raid. Oh.
I'm not. I don't think it's too bad. How are you doing it, bud?
I'm on about 200 mil, but I've been doing a lot of prepping tonight.
Okay, cool.
Gets boring, you know.
Yeah. I know. I'm extremely tired of doing these targets.
Well, yeah, I put a grease monkey on, and then like we got a lot of snipers in our sector, so I done it in this guy's sector, and obviously I can't find nothing there, and he don't know how to link chords into a message, and it took 90 minutes. Is that the hour and a half it was for? Yeah. I've done 9 targets from.
Oh well, there you go. That's a boy. That was not a very effective use of a grease monkey right there.
No, total waste. Yeah.
Fucking lost.
So, are you using missiles or are you using scatters?
I'm using scatters. Yeah, my missile fleet is it just didn't work. It's terrible. God, I do one target and it's like nearly dead. You know,
right.
80% dead. Yeah, it's no good.
So there you have it, folks. We admit live on air that sometimes our builds are just terrible. As opposed to let's do 97 videos and show you the perfect one. Well, no, we'll talk about the ones that go horribly wrong. So, are you just full stacking, or are you using the decoy, or what are you doing?
What me, Mike?
Yeah.
What for taking the targets out? I just I lead with one and and take the damage on that.
Gotcha. So you're
on
doing
the scatters. It's a lot easier, like it's less damage.
Yeah, you're doing the whole decoy thing. That way, you only really ever have to repair your flag, and maybe like every 9 runs, the rest of your fleet if you got too close or whatever.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's when you turn, it's when you turn you might catch a bit of damage.
Right on. So, but yeah, I mean, so this is Toxic's versions. Anybody else have anything that they were doing that was like different than what we were talking about?
Just to mention it, the twin fires, they do take a bit longer to build, so
yeah,
they are a longer build time. That's why I only put 2 on, but I'm not sure how they're going to work. So
now I did want to go over a build too for people who might get enough points to get the hull, but not necessarily get the weapon and the special. So, and this is a good part to actually lead into that, because the twin fire rockets are actually extremely comparable to the needlers, in my opinion. So, like everywhere here where we had the needlers, you could probably put twin fires in. I would still stick with a recondite rocket. I mean, that was pretty available for a good while, so I think a lot of people will have that. Hydraulic resistors have been around for a long time, so I would think a lot of people should have those. Instead of the wave diver warheads, I was using, in the build that I was looking at, I was using was it this guy? Yeah, the precision napalm detonator, because it will give you 73 splash and 35% explosive damage. So, you know, that's a tier 6 thing. So if you can't get the new special, you might have this one laying about. And what was I using instead of Hyper 30? Did anybody look at the lower build that I posted on the page? Because honestly, right off the top of my head, I can't remember what I was using other than Hyper 30.
I did, but I can't remember what it was. The hydraulic resistors were in the TLC too, so hopefully people have got a few of those.
Right. I might have, instead of the Hyper 30, I might have just gone with Agility 4.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, so I mean, you know, if you only have enough points to get the hull. I mean, you still, in my opinion, this is still a very viable build that can probably, I would say for sure, can do A sets and maybe even potentially be able to do the S targets for a little bit more damage. But I think it's going to be a pretty solid build for people who can't get all that other stuff. But yeah, it does come in like it ends up being a longer build. It's like 2 days longer over the whole hull. But you know, you gotta build with what you got, and if that requires having more build time, that's what you got to do.
You had Explosive System 4 on it.
Oh, I had that instead of Agility.
Yeah.
Okay, well there you go. Thanks for going and checking that, because I couldn't remember. So probably, yeah, either Explosive 4 or Agility would probably be good in this case.
And what do we think about charged armor? Is it worth thinking about that at all, or the lower targets?
I don't know, man, because you're going to be losing 18% of one of your defense types because they're one or the other. They don't have both. But you're going to be cutting down. It's a conundrum because you're going to be cutting down on your defenses, but you're also going to be cutting down on your repair time. So I just don't know. That would something that would actually have to physically be tested for me to make a good assessment on that.
If your ships were strong enough and you can afford a few weapons in place gales in their place, you could counter it like that. You know what I mean? Put 2 gales on there and then change out one of those armors, do 2 more gales. You know what I mean? If the ships were strong enough by missing a few weapons, maybe it could be shimmied out. You know.
And I mean, one of the things I'm concerned about though is like, we're already sitting at like that 98% resistance mark, and we have 1,000 ship deflection and everything. So I can just imagine the kind of damage that these fleets are cranking out that we're going up against. So I don't know that I want to lose any of my resistances. You know what I mean?
Well, makes you kind of wonder what we're fighting against too, because each one of these ships gives out 250% damage on the hull, as what our weapons are putting out. So, if they got the same kind of resistance as we do, will it be? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're fighting tanks made out of the adamantium that are shooting like plasma beams at us. I mean, that's kind of the feeling I'm getting.
Yeah, not just our high defenses, but our high damage outputs. I mean, exactly what are we facing here?
Yeah, it makes me pretty nervous. That's for sure.
And if one of you got here, RB, I'll give you this job. Do me a favor and help keep an eye on chat, because I'm in full screen and screen sharing for the build, so I can't really see if anybody there is saying anything.
I did like David Suttle's idea of loading it with scatterguns.
Scatterguns, huh?
Hell fast and scatterguns.
Yeah, but then you go out there, like I said, this gives out the 250% explosive. This does no corrosive. It'd be like going out there and shooting paintballs at it. I mean, because you ain't got no damage boost of that magnitude on these.
Yeah, I think it's just like the
it would be funny
Tide Seekers. That ended up being one hell of a build with the Tide Seekers. You could just go crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Jax, I forgot to ask you when you joined and you were talking about your 8. Which hull are you going with? Are you going with the Razor Tail, or are you going with?
Yeah, I went with the Razor. Yeah. I had some tokens already, so I've built a few, and I got one stripe on them already. It take quite a lot of salvages to rank just one stripe.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, these things are pretty tanky. I mean, they come out of the box with what, 85,000 health, I think.
Right.
Yeah, so yeah, that's going to be a little work to rank them.
I think Kickstarter bring out the D6 armor next month, so we have to go with the CTX, and I reckon it'd be the same as this raid. We gradually swap over armors.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm also wondering too, like next raid cycle, if the whole thing that we're doing now with using a decoy would be effective in that next raid cycle. We'll just have to see how fast stuff dies. Because if you don't die, if it doesn't die quick enough, obviously it's going to be able to kind of probably surround you, and that won't having a decoy won't really matter. But if you kill it fast enough, the whole decoy thing might work again.
I think what they've done with this the armor percentages is just stupid. I mean, what is the difference between 99.96 and 99.955?
You know what? You'd really be surprised. Because
I know that, but just to read it, why
Right.
couldn't it be 16, 70%, and 71? Why do they have to go into the points now? It's just
That's why it's kind of sad that Huggies is gone, because you can go in there and you could see what the points as far as armor value that was worth, and it is a lot.
Because I remember seeing times where like 0.5% of a difference made a difference of like you could absorb like 1 million more damage. You know,
but
so
now,
as players, longtime players, we know what the difference is. But for anybody who's new, they would have no clue that 0.5% would make that big of a difference.
exactly right, and it's just totally it's like all the big numbers, where you need to have 5 billion of this and 6 quadrillion of that. It just why not simplify it? It still does the same stuff,
But all right,
I guess it's what it is.
Yeah. So let's clear this out. And let's talk about the bat ray. This is the one where I'm going to need help from other people because I honestly haven't really looked at this whole much. I've focused on the one I was actually going to build. Ironic, huh?
Well, I'm definitely at a conundrum on what I want to do, because I mean, I can build it in a range of speed from 56 to 72 mile an hour, and that's not including the 20% wind up speed it's got.
All right.
So
let's start.
let's
start with the things you know are going to be the same no matter which way you build it.
The 2 concussive specials and the skirmish battery.
So
well, the engine is the conundrum. Do I go with the hydraulic resistor, speed 6, or Magnus 3?
All right, well, hang on. Let's look little bits at a time here.
Yeah, I think it's the hydraulic. I mean, there's plenty of them around.
So you're going to go with the skirmish battery. What else are you going with? The same old special, the CTX3?
The CTX3 armors, yes. All 4.
And you're going to use the CTX armors as well. Okay, so we'll put them on there.
The COM or the CTX.
Yeah, I got that on there already.
Advanced concussive payload.
Advanced concussive payload, number 2, I'm assuming.
Yes. And hydroxide or explosive casing, the new depth charge. Critical thing.
It'll be way down here in my red thing. Yeah, the hydro explosive casings.
Yeah. Those 4 specials for sure. But other than that, I mean, the 5th special and the engine, I'm not sure of yet.
All right, let's go to the weapons. I'm assuming you're going to put 2 Gales on it, yeah?
Yeah, 2 Gales and then all of the new Gatling gun.
I see, and honestly, the Gatling gun, honestly, is one of the reasons that I ended up choosing not to go with this hull, honestly, is because I don't like weapons that depend on them being in combat to do their actual damage that's printed on the blueprint. I don't know. I have a problem with that.
Yeah, well, this one right here is only a 2-second reload in the way I'm thinking about it, and it's got a 4-second wind-up time. So, I mean, the fire rate on it's going to be phenomenal with reload with the rank, and then that's reload special. So it's just the damage wind-up, which if I can keep the ships trailing, like I said, I got to figure out how fast it drives. because, or how fast the enemy ships are, because I gotta know that in order to know how to drive these ships. They can't be too fast and they can't be too slow.
Right. So just for the sake of argument, we're going to go with hydraulic resistors for your engine. And then what would your last special be if we went with hydraulic resistors?
Okay. See, if I needed speed, I would go with the Hyper 30. But if I didn't need speed, I would go with the Countermeasure 4.
Gotcha. So your choices are the Hyper 30, which we talked about earlier, the one that gives you projectile speed and
combat speed.
Yeah, combat speed, and hopefully will be fixed and give you also splash damage reduction.
Yeah.
Or countermeasure.
Yeah, see, that puts me at the 65.
All right.
Now, at the 65, I could get 65 if I was willing to do without the splash reduction and all that and the concussive defense. I could go engine 6 and then run my countermeasure loader 4.
All right.
So, I mean, there's that 2 different configurations, whether you want countermeasure range or not, you know, which also would give you a little bit more reload for your weapon.
So, like you other guys, what are your thoughts on this?
The other suggestion from chat was Magnus 3 and thruster for speed and kiting.
Gotcha. Yeah. So they would like. So I guess you would put Magnus 3 obviously in place of the resistors, and then I guess the thrusters would be in place of the case or the hydraulic resistor. I don't know. Why can I not talk today? The Hyper 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, Magnus 3 is not a bad choice on this because it's got the 50 turn. You're going to be fine with your turn speed. It'll be still more than what you had on your other one a while ago.
Yeah.
Max rank and all.
Okay, so here you go.
So, honestly, if you put Magnus 3 on, you might not even need the thrusters.
Lost cat.
So again, countermeasure 4.
Messages.
Yeah, don't forget the rank. You're gonna get the rank on it as well, so that'll up your turn as well. You know.
Yeah. See,
that's a good point.
now if you run this right here, you're running the 72 mile an hour, which is really fast. A top 20% combat speed wind up. You know.
Yeah.
But the turn speed's 50. I mean, that's terrible. If you're kiting, you need turn speed.
Well, with rank, it's going to get up there. You're good around 74, 75 turn speed. That's decent enough to do decent driving with. You don't want to be too chirpy and turn off your target. You know, having a turn speed of 185 or something, you know, whatever it is.
Well, let's see. If we do put ion thruster 4s on, let's see what our turn speed up would be.
150.
That'll give you the splash resistance.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, it's got splash built in, yeah.
Well, I mean, but obviously that'll get fixed at the same time as Hyper 30 because I think splash reduction itself is the problem. So once one of them's fixed, they're all going to be fixed.
Yeah, I hope
The
so.
wind up does a little bit more turn speed also. I think 10% on your wind up also.
For the
Combat speed and turn speed. It's at the very bottom.
Yeah, it gives you plus 10% turn speed.
Yeah.
That's good.
So, Jax, this version right here has your stamp of approval.
Well, I mean, I probably will build 2 fleets, you know, but I would like to watch videos of the back ray before I sort of decide anything on the build, really.
I'm hoping that they're going to have the VXP as kind of a preview, and I can kind of see how fast their ships are going, which can kind of give me an idea how to go.
Now, like, I mean, I'm sure there's a version of the bat ray that you can also build if you can only get the hull, but not all the extra stuff that goes with it. Like, in place of these new Gatling guns, you could probably use the Garwood 2s, you know? I mean, they don't go up to 18,000, but at least they stay at 15,000 the whole time. And then you just have to stay in combat for your reload. But your reload can also be adjusted by specials and whatnot. So, I mean, there's definitely potential for a little bit lesser build for the bat ray as well, which is kind of really nice, actually, that we have for both of these hulls. That if you're only able to get the hull, you do have options that you can use some of the lesser stuff and almost get as good a performance. I mean, it won't be as good, but you can still do pretty decent with it. I think that's a really good thing that we have options like that currently, because I know in the past couple cycles it's like you either have the new shit or you don't have nothing. You know?
Yeah. If you didn't get the new weapon, it won't perform. But yeah, the fallback weapons that they should already have, being able to perform on these hulls is nice for some.
Yeah, it definitely seems like weapon escalation has gotten maybe under control just a little bit, maybe. So that's pretty sweet.
And the flagship comes out next week. The flagship, so that's something to look forward to.
Yeah. I mean, well, we can assume it does. I don't know that anything's been said for sure, but it usually does. So.
Yeah. Well, I read it tonight in the forum.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's going to be in the raid.
That's cool, because that was one of my questions, whether we build, given that we're going to get the free one as well, whether we're building 4 or 5.
I know I myself plan to have, I'm going to try my best to have 4 fully built ones and then like at least a 5th half-ass one to kind of run with it to give it the buffs that it does from the auras, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking.
I know in the past, historically, the difference between having 5 and having 4 is pretty damn huge. I'm sorry. Now go ahead, Toxic.
No, it's just I was thinking of maybe throwing a Frostburn Interceptor in there, but with that high damage, it'll just pop. It wouldn't even see any. Not in the asset. It might be viable for the A sets to extinguish the fire fields if they're the same as the asset, to get rid of the cryo field. But yeah.
Well, and there again, we'll have to see about tier locking, you know, because it might be a thing where the Frostburn's not a high enough tier to take in a lot of the shit.
Yeah, even if you could, I don't think it'd last very long. It'll last one shot and it'll just pop.
I wonder if that Frostburn would be able to keep up with the newer ships.
Yeah, that too.
Like 23, 25 mile an hour, 28 mile an hour.
But it might be.
If you put Reaver Scout engine on it, it might be able to.
Well, these ships are going to slow down to that.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, it would keep up with them. It's just your other guys.
You're going to go in there with snails. What happened? We cut your engine, dude.
But it may be a viable option in the A and B sets or whatnot. You know, to get rid of those cryo fields. Yeah.
I mean, and I know one thing too that like a lot of people have been talking about mixing and matching, you know, and I'm not 100% sure that I'm sold that would be a good idea with these particular things, because it's definitely seeming to me from everything I've read and in the videos that I watch on in their little thing that it definitely seems like you need all 5 of your fields to make these ships perform to their maximum potential. Anybody else have thoughts on that?
Well, for this one, I definitely see that taking on those the large smart torpedoes, having all 5 fields to be able to pop that dude before it gets to you, because they did say that thing is going to have damage.
Yeah.
Along with the cryo field, which if any cryo field hits either one of these ships, forget about your wind-up speed. It just dropped. And the explosive ships, keep in mind, they got a 40% wind-up speed, so their difference in speed is greater than what this ship's difference in speeds is.
Correct.
So,
can you just scroll down to the buffs?
No.
Please?
No. 50 coins.
I'm glad I asked.
50 coins. What do you want to see? The special abilities?
Yeah.
Which one? The very bottom one, or the middle one, or the top one, or what? Which one?
Just how how the buffs stack and what you need there.
Yeah, so it looks like for the duplicate aura cap for this one, you're going to get it's 130 range. It's minus 3,000 damage a second to any of the smart torpedoes that come in, whether they're the big, small, or medium ones. So those things actually must have a fair amount of health if you're going to have. So, 5 of them times 3,000. We'll wait while I take
15,000 damage.
Yeah, 15,000 damage. So they're going to have a fair little chunk of health, it seems like.
Yeah.
Can I just ask a question here? With those smart torpedoes,
50 points.
What are the smart
straight
torpedoes?
after the show, with those smart torpedoes, right? Can you shoot them down? Can they be shot down by something else apart from the field?
Interesting that you would bring this up, because we were talking about this on the hangout last night, and so I really went and I did some research on that, and it seems like the only thing that is going to damage the smart torpedoes seems to be these fields. It does not seem like you can shoot at them.
So one ship would be wouldn't have anything to kill these things at all.
No, you'd spend your whole battle, probably spend 15 minutes trying to kite one smart torpedo around.
It'd be like trying to shoot one of those cryo mines in the FM.
Yeah, exactly.
You can shoot at it. Well, you can't even shoot at them. So
yeah, no, I don't
even know if they can be targeted by other weapons.
They're saying at the moment on Grapevine, tagging up, one with back rail and one with razor tail going in and doing the target that the razor tail does, and then leaving half of it for someone else to go in and kill with back rail and vice versa. Back rail with doing that little bit of business what he has to do, and then going in with razor tail and killing the rest.
Well, obviously we don't know because we haven't seen the targets, but it almost sounds to me when they were doing their BP Live thing the other day, it's almost seemed like one target was going to be for one ship and one target was going to be for the other ship. Is kind of the feel that I got. Did you guys get that same feel from the way they were talking?
Yeah, they broke it down, didn't they, with the different elements.
It's exactly what they are. I mean, really.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely seemed like they were that we're going to end up in that Skyfire Phoenix conundrum that we had, where the Phoenixes did pretty good and everything, but then you needed the Skyfires to do particular targets, and then that turned TLCs into a whole freaking mess. That's like my big concern at this point is like, okay, once we see these targets, what are TLCs going to be like if, you have to use one hull to do one hull to do the other? We're going to be right back in that whole conundrum where no, both ships can't equally do as well.
Yeah.
But that's all speculation, and we don't really know anything yet, so I'm trying not to be like too negative and too Debbie Downer about that whole thing.
Well, I might need to address the sonar on this hull. I forgot about that when I was telling you everything on here too. That's why I was saying it depends on how they run as to what all I put on it, because I might need the 160 sonar or whatever being this hull, not having the cavitator.
Right.
And that's another thing that we was discussing a while ago, or somebody was asking questions about.
Well,
ranges and all that a while ago. On the other hull, the cavitator field is 75. From standard torpedoes, we know the range was 78, but then it went up to 88 with the newer ones.
Right.
We don't know what range torpedoes those Reapers are using.
But there again, like, since it sounds like it's going to be two different targets, like we don't even know that the Reapers will be in the targets that you're going to be taking the battery.
They shouldn't be. It was the the interdictors. Yes.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's why I was saying if you tag team up and one hull does its bit in there and then comes out, and then the other hull goes in and does its bit in there and kill the target between them, but then they'd have to share the bonus, do the bonus each. They'd have to do 2 targets each to get the bonus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like the targets both have the same things in them, except for the interdictors in one and the Reapers in the other. Other than that, they got the Hunters and the battleships and the Nemesis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the proto-nem with mortars in it.
Yeah. So all that's the same, except one has the interdictors and one has the Reapers.
And the interdictors are the ones that are shooting the long range.
Smart torpedoes, yes.
Yeah. And
let me herd my cats back here to this build for a minute. Did anybody else on the panel have anything that they wanted to put in on this build? Is that something they think might be better or might want to change?
The other thing from chat was using the explosive resistors for the engine.
Yeah, so that would be your 3 engine choices.
And-
It seems like it'd be Magnus, the hydraulics, or the explosive ones, depending on which way you think is going to be best. And honestly, until we get a peek at the targets, which should be the XP weekend, but until we get a peek at the targets, we're not really going to get a firm feel for which way you need to go more towards, if either one.
Yeah, I mean,
Well, if you would put a resistor on, you'd put the hydraulic on, wouldn't you? Because that's got the lower concussive defense. It's got the higher explosive on the battery.
Yeah.
So you would go the opposite of what you do to the riser.
But not necessarily if you're taking a lot
yeah.
more explosive damage than you are concussive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we kind of have to see the target to figure out what more damage it's putting out.
yeah, at least there's a choice on the resistors there. You can go explosive or concussive.
Right.
There is a choice of a way to go in that respect. But I mean, if like just a resistor on this hole right here, I believe does only 56 mile an hour. This is supposed to be something that's kiting something. It's kind of hard to kite if they can overwhelm you in speed and run you over.
One thing you can be sure of, though, is with the amount of turn speed you've got on it, you've got really good speed system 6 on it. You can put Magnus Drive 3 on instead because it doesn't have turn speed, does it?
Yeah.
But the other problem too with the explosive resistors is that they're limited, so you're going to have to earn them all to.
Yeah, they just came out, didn't they?
Yeah, that's because they're both limited, but the hydraulic resistors have been out for a really long time, so odds are you're gonna have more of those. Yeah. I think Jack's actually brought that up earlier too.
Yeah, there's only 2 out right now.
I got well over
targets.
The greatest thing about doing a verbal hangout is Jax can't correct your spelling. That's the best thing in the world.
Oh yeah.
So do you think Evade will do anything in these targets as well? Up in Evade?
Evade could help some with the torpedoes, yes. Like not the smart torpedoes, but the regular torpedoes. I'm assuming there'll be some of those in the target, so it could help with those. But like when you're getting hit by either the depth charge or the rockets or whatever the surface weapons, Evade won't help at all against those.
Right.
So I don't know, but it seems like for the Pat Ray, this is kind of the version that we're like, there's a couple things that we're not 100% sure about on like the engines and this one special choice, but it seems like we're pretty locked in on most of the rest of it.
There's no thermal on it, neither is there, noise.
No, neither one of these guys has thermals.
And that sucks for being a skirmish raid, really, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's why I thought it might be worth putting sonar on just one of the sonar booster on just one of them. At least then if you can see them coming in, you might be able to, zig the other way or something.
I'm still really interested in this cloak time stat on the skirmish battery. Like, what are you gonna put it on?
I mean, it could improve a different hull. To be honest, because that stacks. I think that would stack on top of another battery. I'm talking about specifically the stealth stat, though, not the battery as a whole. Oh, the stealth.
Specifically the stealth stat.
Oh, the cloak time?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It could go on a previous hull, like say if somebody still had Tiger Sharks and could so they still had a battery and a cat drive on it, and they could swap it, and actually they got the new Mimicus on us. This right here would stack with the Mimicus.
Well, but are Tiger Sharks even going to be viable to do anything?
I know they're not viable, but I'm just saying it is something that could be used on an older hull to help it upgrade it if that's where a person was at, or you can use it on these newer hulls. Like I said, it replaces also the upgrades. Even though the fangs, they didn't got no time to come up and nothing. Just negate that. It doesn't matter. You'll get the 25% damages.
Well, and I understand that, but like I said, I was just talking specifically about the stuff.
Yeah. Since there's no subs coming out, the only reason I can think it's there is for something older to help it out, somebody in a lower position or older vessel's position,
Or potentially something that's going to come out in the future.
Yeah, some might come out in the future. I mean, I think this could even be used on. No, this is skirmish specific.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Because I was thinking.
So there's no way you could use it on the gluttony.
Yeah, I was thinking Glutz, and then I saw skirmish, and I'm like, no, that's no good either.
Because isn't that what is the cloak time on that?
On what?
On this special.
25%.
Okay, see that if I'm not mistaken, the
Tiger
it wasn't that high. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As high as that. So this is probably, and it could stack with that. So that's probably why they made this skirmish specific.
And there'll be a new sub coming out, so
I hope so.
yeah.
This pisses me off on this cycle that there's not one.
Oh my God.
Let's
not even go down that alley.
Let's not even go down that because that's a touchy one with me.
Yeah, it's touchy for Shane, and we'll be talking the rest of the show about that. So yeah, let's not go down that alley. So I don't know. What else you guys want to talk about? I mean, we kind of talked about how we're doing in the raid. We kind of talked about some different build situations. What else do you guys want to talk about?
We can talk about the turrets.
The turrets, they're interesting, dude. They're interesting.
That's for sure.
I mean,
we need specials for the UAV turret. Proper special.
Yeah. We need that. There needs to be like a chaining range special or something.
Because the damage is pretty poor, really, you know.
Yeah. I was crunching numbers the other night, and I was just like, oh, so anybody who's, because immediately everybody was like, oh, well, if they chain out the sloths, that could be cool. But then, like, I got to looking at the numbers, and I'm like, okay, so just to only be taking minimum damages, sloths would only have to put it on, like, either 2 of the morts that gives you the concussive deflection or one armor panel that gives you concussive deflection. You'd only be taking minimum damage.
Yep.
Which honestly, at that point, in my mind anyway, you'd be better off with just axioms with priority targeting on it.
At least you can cause a lot more consecutive, faster. Minimum damage. Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know. My personal favorite out of all the new turrets that we got is definitely the axiom at this point, and what I'm looking at. And it's not even that it does a whole crap ton of damage or anything. It's just like you're doing a whole lot of minimums like pretty quick because it has a 20-second reload, but when it gets wound up, it's like plus 4,900%. So that's going to be pretty freaking quick that you're going to be popping those 5 salvos out.
And it's similar damage to Axiom 1, though. Is it worth changing?
I'm sorry, what was that?
The Axiom 2, same as the Axiom 1, similar in damage. So is it worth changing?
Hang on, let me look at what we got here.
Let's see.
Well, the thing is, you got to be a tier 7, to get the bonuses.
Yeah.
I still like the UAVs. I cannot wait to put that thing in and see it go.
I want to look at that as well. Toxic.
It's about 20,000 more damage.
Yeah, it's quite a bit.
Well, and the bigger thing in my mind is that you get like 52 more range because the maximum range on the 2 is what, 287, right?
First one's 235, and the number 2 is 287.
Yeah, so that
bigger donut hole too. It's 110.
I mean that you can do a whole lot with that extra 52 range or whatever.
Yeah, definitely. And it is more damaging, and then you get the ×8 effect if you go full bore.
Yep.
Which, like we said, damage, don't know what they're going to do with the refactor, but damage cannot overcome deflection. But the high rate of speed, the projectile speed is still the same as the Axiom 1. So take those same precautions. But now we have a new special that, well, new to me. You got the 100% projectile speed special, which worked great on this weapon.
Oh, that's something interesting I just saw in chat that I didn't know. David is saying that the Uranium Expedition, the one of them has smart torpedoes that are launched by predators. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, I've never done
I
one.
don't think I've ever done that expedition.
That's where they snuck it in.
All right, so what else we want to talk about?
Well, what other turrets they got in there? Let's see.
I think everything else was, well, you got the Serb, which I'm not that impressed by the Serb.
Yeah.
I do like the fleets on the map idea. That's quite good, where you can recall and launch your fleets from the map. I like that.
Don't get me started on that map fleet thing. I freaking hate that thing.
Yeah, it's
You have to get used to
it's a new toy, though, isn't it? You got to get used to it, and when you get used to it, you'll like it.
I don't think I ever will like it, because my biggest problem is, like, I usually have multiple fleets running on the map at the same time. And when something comes out of combat, you know, it'll be at the top, and you click it, you go to double click it to move it. But when you click it the first time, it changes where it's at in the queue. So then you gotta, like, click it, wait, figure out where it went, and then go click it again. And people are like, well, if you minimize your dock, you won't have that problem. I'm like, yeah, you'll still have that problem if you have, like, 5 fleets out on the map going at the same time, autoing different shit. So yeah, I honestly, myself, I wish there was a way I could turn it off.
Yeah,
I do think it'll stop a lot of fleet sniping, though. Sorry, go on, Toxic.
No, I was just gonna say I'll do the same thing, because as soon as that thing comes out of battle, it hops down to the bottom, and if you just don't think about it for 1 second, you click recall and you recall something else that you got on the map, or you call your Hyperion to your base and it tells you can't attack this with a Hyperion, or it's just, yeah. By the time you click around, yeah.
I would love to know. I'd love to know too how many people are trying to click on their regular fleet that they're doing something with, and then double clicking and accidentally hitting the recall button on something else, have ended their expeditions early.
Yeah, that's
It
my
happened
only
too,
issue
yeah.
with it, is that I can recall my expedition fleet out there. It's like, that needs to be blanked out, you know, because I don't want to accidentally recall that damn thing.
I mean, I think I've said this before. I like the whole fact that you can launch fleets from being on the map. I just wish, like, at the top of the screen where they have all, you know, where you can click on all that other stuff, they could have just had a drop down menu there, and you can just, like, click and launch from up there. And then we could have kept the old, you know, thing down at the bottom that we were used to. And that
thing I'm liking at the moment is I'm able to do things in my base and use the app on my phone to auto targets. That's quite a good thing to have.
All right.
Yeah.
I wish they'd get rid of that big freaking gold instant repair button on that
On the app.
Yeah. Well, on the fleet management thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because, like, I mean, thank God it, like, double checks with you to make sure you want to do it, because I don't know how many times I clicked that thing accidentally. So, anything else, or are we going to wrap it up there?
Pretty good. I mean, that was all. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we talked about the raid, how people are doing, a couple more tips and tricks, and we spent time talking about builds. So, yeah, I think we covered a good bit of stuff tonight. So, I guess we'll call it there. Nobody else has anything else. So, thanks for coming out and watching us, guys. Thanks for participating in chat. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, share us with your friends, send them to the page, do all that fun stuff. And I guess we'll talk to you Thursday.
Later.
Okay, cheers.
Good luck, everyone.
Hoorah.